welcome into the PHNX Daily Bet Show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit like button, subscribe if you're new, leave a like on the video, and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. How you doing, Johnny?
I'm good, Shano. How you doing on this fine Wednesday? A Wednesday in late January here in the Arizona desert. We're doing okay.
It's nice outside. It's very nice outside.
Very nice.
Went to go work out this morning. It's beautiful.
Gym flex there. Kick off the show. I like it.
Yeah. I can actually stand up later if the viewers want that. So one thing that I will obviously go over the lines on Championship Sunday, but we'll also go over some head coaching things. I want to kick off the show with what you said right before we got on. There's a line that's not available in the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and you think that's for a reason, don't you?
Yeah. So I am doing some investigative journalism because that's the kind of content you get here at PHNX Sports. But Brian Daboll, who is in the running for several jobs, the Giants head coaching odds have been taken off the DraftKings Sportsbook app. I believe it's because they are narrowing their search down to Brian Daboll, even though they've got other people in the building to interview. They made comments this morning that did ownership John Mara saying, we've screwed up Daniel Jones. Basically, they're going to attempt to salvage his career. You're not going to do that with a defensive guy, with all due respect to the Brian Floreses of the world. So if de facto they hire Brian Daboll, keep an eye on another line that I like, and we'll talk about it here in a second, because the Miami Dolphins would prefer Brian Daboll. I don't think Brian Daboll prefers the Miami Dolphins. So you I think once upon a time you could have gotten Daboll to the Giants at plus 200. DraftKings is saying, we're not even going to mess with that right now.
Yeah. There's no really point in putting a line that's like minus 1,500. And I think that's probably what it would be right now, if we're being honest. We'll just dive into what I think a head coaching thing. I sent you this slip earlier in the week.
Yeah.
Jonathan Gannon to the Texans. I know you like this as well.
I do.
It's just a lot of the times when you like a head coach and there's a lot of word going around that this is going to be the main guy, the main candidate. It's usually like plus 200. This is still plus 650. It was plus 800 earlier in the week, like over the weekend, I think. But it's still plus 650 right now on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. And I've just been hearing that he's what a lot of Texans fans want him. He had his second interview. Like, I think plus 650 is just really, really juicy for this pick.
Well, especially when you consider the other options that are on the table. Brian Flores, if I had to guess, would be my favorite by default because of the Patriot ties that organization has. Their GM came from New England. Flores was there for a ton of time. I think Flores goes there if he doesn't have any other options he likes. But you're hitching your wagon to an organization now that is not settled at quarterback, despite what's went on with Davis Mills this year. I think Gannon is a great hedge your bet kind of play because of the fact that the Eagles' defense was good this year. It was fine. But they feasted like Dallas on a lot of bad quarterbacks in that division. Jonathan Gannon, to me, 39-year-old, has been around the NFL for some time, was in Indianapolis, was in Minnesota, so defensive cultures that groomed him to this point. Very similar to their situation last year with David Culley, where it's like, who can we even get to take this job? The Josh McCown thing is wild. I don't think they go that route.
Yeah.
So, he would be number two. I'll tell you right now, if Brian Flores, let's say, gets the Chicago job, or if he interviews well with the Giants, or if he ends up in Minnesota, you'll see those odds for Gannon start to go up, going from plus 650 to something like plus 300, because I think he'll become the clear favorite.
For sure. And then you sent me two earlier this morning that you like a lot. Why don't we pull those up?
So the first one to me is, like, I don't know why we're not talking about this as a near certainty. Jim Harbaugh, I think if he were to go to the Vegas Raiders, that would have happened by now. He's still plus 200 in the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Rick Biscottia, I want to say Biscotti, but it's not Biscotti. Rick Biscottia got the Raiders to the playoffs this year when they were literally buried because of the fact that they had the John Gruden incident, the drugs incident. They had another DUI from another player. Dude got him to the playoffs. Like, I don't know, at least for another year, how you just don't run that back with this poor guy. And I don't think they're going to have a lot of options anyway. So plus 300, put $20 on that. Make yourself some money, because I think that's going to happen. And then Vance Joseph remains the favorite, not the clear favorite, but the favorite Miami. Daboll is plus 350. when that domino falls and Dable ends up in the New York, which I believe will happen, this number is going to get taken off the board because people I trust, people with the Pro Football Network believe that Dable is their choice. They don't think Dable wants to go to Miami. Vance Joseph is respected in that organization. He is their fallback, but at plus 250, you're not a fallback. You are the front runner, the leader. That's the next one I think that could fall after the Dable news that could get removed. A lot of these coaching odds, you got to act fast on because they will get taken off the board. Put a little scratch on these now. You'll thank us later because they won't be available by the end of the week.
For sure. Can we just appreciate that we live in a moment in time where we can bet on a man's career?
I love it. First of all, these people get guaranteed 7-figure contracts.
Yeah.
The Cardinals just now stopped paying Steve Wilks, who's been out of football for like 18 months. So I feel bad when like scouts are fired and people have to relocate their families. Head coaches, that's generational wealth that will set them up for life. I don't feel bad for them. Take your money.
I love it so much. Well, teams that are still playing, there are 4 teams. And to me, it just feels like it's too easy to pick the Chiefs and the Rams. It just feels like it's too easy. I think the Niners are sneaky. And I really do. I mean, the Niners, is the winning streak too long? I think that's the question. Is the 7-game or 6-game winning streak too long? Is McVay finally going to get payback this weekend?
I just love the default home field advantage the Niners get because SoFi Stadium is such a joke. And Niner fans.
Did you see what they did?
Yeah, they tried to police it where you couldn't buy it out of market, and people are still getting around it. I read upper deck seating is going for, I want to say 4 figures, like $1,500 a seat. Ram fans are not paying that. Niner fans are. I've read by all and large, it's going to be like 60-40 in favor of Niner fans, which is just insane. I do not think they are going to be able to replicate their defensive performance from last week. This offense was a couple turnovers away from blowing out Tampa Bay. Yeah. That should have been a blowout. And I think Tampa's defense is on par with San Francisco's. It didn't matter. As much as it pains me, like I wasn't a believer in Von Miller. I thought that was a gross trade. I thought Odell Beckham was fine. They have been elite. It's everything I want the Cardinals culture to be. The Rams culture is plug and play. They produce. I actually think, and we'll talk about the lines, but I'm swallowing the points. I think the Rams win handedly. I think the Jimmy G luck will run out. I think the Niners, we got Trent Williams in a walking boot. He's going to play. They have overachieved, and it stops this week.
You're either going to see a gross game that goes back and forth, like 21-20, and McVay gets embarrassed, even though they only lose by 1 point.
I mean, I want that to happen. Yeah. That's what as much as I hate Shanahan and the Niners, I hate the LA Rams more. The Cardinals at least swept the Niners, and I want them to muck it up.
The Niners are the only team that can beat somebody by 3 points and claim that the other coach got outcoached because of what he's working with. It's hilarious. Or Jimmy G's just going to get embarrassed, which I could definitely see happening.
You make a great point there. So Shanahan, it's kind of this like sneaky, brilliant move where he's like, I'm going to take a quarterback that everybody shits on, that everybody hates, and I'm going to get credit every week. Remember Brady wanted to go there. He said no, right? They didn't trade for Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers. Like, let me roll with Jimmy G because when things go well, I get the credit. When things go bad, we can deflect on him and his porn star girlfriend.
It's brilliant.
It is.
The only thing that I'm confident in this weekend is whatever OBJ's receiving prop is. I'm taking the over. It's always around 50.
Yeah.
I'm going to see what that is right now. It's at 51.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. That's the only thing I really like this week. So the line in that game is 3.5, as we said, and the line in the Chiefs game is 7 points. Obviously, Chiefs are the favorite. I don't know what to think of that Chiefs game. I just think that, dude, like Joe Burrow had to throw for, 500 yards to beat this team barely. Do you think he does that again? And even then, is that enough?
So I watched that entire. This is a press box flex. I watched that entire game in Jerry World in the press box next to Ed Warder. I didn't sit next to him. He was at the table next to me. I watched that entire Cincinnati Kansas City game. And Jamar, it took a generational performance from Jamar Chase to beat them that day. Kansas City was off. There were a lot of calls that went in the favor of Cincinnati, which was great. It was in Cincinnati. Guess what? This is in Kansas City. Kansas City has 3 Hall of Famers on their offense. Burrow's fantastic. Jamar Chase is great. I love T. Higgins. I love Joe Mixon. I don't see them replicating that performance. The kind of performance they had late in the season is the kind that they would have to have now, and I don't think you can replicate that. Chase had almost like 200 yards in that game. Yeah, you don't think that they're gonna Steve Spagnuolo they're watching that tape and fixing it now?
Yeah, and Spagnuolo's defense gets better every week in and out. So yeah, I think the safest thing to do if you're a little scared is to tease the Rams or maybe tease the Niners and the Chiefs. Yeah. Well, I think you tease the Rams and the Chiefs. 6-point teaser, 2.5, and
right.
And
drop
1.
It down.
Yeah,
I'm gonna swallow both favorites though. And I can be comfortable in saying that, and also saying like last week, if the games are close, then we all win because we want close games. First of all, shame on the Buffalo Bills for not winning more games during the regular season, and that game last weekend should have been in the AFC Championship game.
Our producer Sean is shaking his head behind.
Right, you flubbed around all season. You had to play them in the divisional round, idiots. And then on the flip side in the NFC, it's like the Packers should be hosting the Rams, and that was the battle everybody wanted to see. They peed down their leg. Now I'm afraid because of what transpired last weekend that we are going to get blowouts in Championship Sunday. I hope that's not the case, but I feel like that's where we're trending.
I could definitely see that happening. I just think I'm scared. I'm also scared that if it's the Rams and the Chiefs, I think the Rams might lay a big stinker in the Super Bowl again. But that is to be determined, getting ahead of ourselves. Guys, if you want to bet on any of these games early, take the early lines before they move. If there's any injuries coming up, or you want to bet on any of the HUD coaching picks that we gave out, or the NBA picks that we're about to give out, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Use that promo code PHNX when you sign up. For the championship game, we'll head to Super Bowl 56. They're giving you 56-1 odds on any money line you want. So $5 on the Chiefs money line, that's you $280 in free bets if they win. But you can do that with any money line this week on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It's safe, it's secure, it's reliable, and it just adds a little bit of extra oomph to sports, even if you're betting on the Bills and you get crushed. Like I was. No more Patty melts for me and Sean. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Use that promo code PHNX when you sign up. Get $280 in free bets when you place just $5 on any team's money line this weekend at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It's 21 plus, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for more details. Okay, let's get into our NBA picks.
Okay.
Johnny, I'll let you go first because you sent me your picks before. So what happens in the mornings is Johnny sends me his picks and I put them on a graphic. But I don't send him my picks because I already have them in my head. And I actually had the Heat and the Magic before this. So I'm glad we're on the same page today.
We are both big fans of the Orlando Magic and their 9 wins. They are fresh off a victory. Can we talk about their recent victory? They beat the Bulls. They should have blown out the Lakers the other night. I took a screen capture of that game. It's low-key hilarious. I am more fascinated with the Clippers and their continued descent into irrelevance, which I love. They're at home tonight. The Clippers have to travel way out east. Orlando's favored by a bucket and a half, depending on where you get it from. Hopefully DraftKings. Take the Magic, take the money line. You'll be thankful that you did. The Heat just beat the Lakers. The Heat are the best team in the East. They're back at home tonight against the Knicks team that I think overachieved last year and has poised to be showcased to be fraudulent this year. I love Jimmy Butler. I love the Heat in that game at -5.5. And then our friends in the Mountain State. Is that what you call Colorado? The Mountain State, the Rocky Mountain State? Nope, I made that up. That's not a real thing. But you know what is a real thing? They get to travel to Brooklyn tonight. They are in absolute shambles, that being the Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant is banged up. They're talking about now, have you heard about this, Shane? Considering paying the fines so Kyrie can play at home in Brooklyn. What a dumpster fire, irrelevant franchise. I can't wait to laugh in their face. You've got now rumors of James Harden wanting to leave because the strip clubs in New York are not up to his standards. That's a real rumor on Twitter. Give me everything. Nuggets tonight. Nuggets -2. I tease that up. Nuggets -5. They're going to blow out Brooklyn. It's going to be glorious.
So speaking of bad teams, last night one of my picks was the Pistons +7.5, and they played the Nuggets and they actually covered that game. It was pretty fun to watch. barely a nice backdoor cover. But yeah, both teams off of a back-to-back in that game. I like that pick a lot. I think Jokic goes crazy, and I think Harden got all the good energy out of him, and now it's just time for Nightmare Harden tonight. So
it's time for Toxic Poison Houston Rocket Harden. I love it so much.
We'll throw up my picks for tonight. As I said, I also like the Heat and the Magic. The Magic playing a Clippers team who just had a big emotional win. They were down 30 last night in the second quarter and ended up storming back and winning by 1. I don't think that they're going to have enough energy to beat a albeit bad Magic team but they're off of a back-to-back. So, and yeah, the Heat, I just think they're supremely talented. I really like them, -5.5 right now. It was 6 this morning. I don't know why it's moving down, but I'm all over that. And then in that same game, the over at 202. I also have a Julius Randle prop, of course, that we'll get to later, and it has to do with this. 202, the Knicks always have low scoring odds on their over-under in their games because of the way they play. They haven't been shooting well, but I think Miami kind of pushes the pace a little bit, so I like this over at 202 for sure. And then why don't we just get right into my props for tonight?
You said later. I'm like, you running it back like in a half an hour? There's your props.
Julius Randle, give me that over at 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists. This is like the 7th time I picked this on the show, and I think it's like 4 for 7, 5 for 7. And Johnny, the reason why I like picking this prop so much is because not only do you get like really fun, hard basketball from Julius Randle, but sometimes you just get like rec league ball where he just walks up the court and then they find him at like
Cherry
5
picking.
seconds left to go in the shot. No, he comes back from the other end of the court while the offense is already set up, and he gets the ball with like 10 seconds left in the shot clock and throws up a shot. And somehow it's an and one. So I'm taking that. He's also a monster on the boards and dishing. And if Evan Fournier can get hot, watch out for that prop to hit in the third quarter. Bismack Biyombo over a half assist. He's going to play a lot tonight. He's got to get 1 assist, right? I mean, come on. They like to use their bigs tonight against the Jazz, and I think he's going to have a big game, not only points and rebounds, but also maybe 1 assist tonight. And then Chris Paul had a crazy game, almost a triple-double against the Jazz in their last game, which was the last game both of these teams played. So I think he has a double-double tonight, and I think
all those hit. Bismack's had at least 1 assist, I think, in like 4 straight games. I think you're in good shape there.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
His wingspan, I read, is 7'6". Mine's about 4'5".
Well, actually, I'm going to say I hate all my props because yesterday I said I loved them all and they all missed. So,
well, then you're in good shape then.
Yeah, we're in good shape. All right, Johnny, anything else before we get out of here?
Yeah, check out gophnx.com. Become a member. Get a free T-shirt from our PHNX merchandise locker if you sign up for a full year, or if you want to dip your toe in. It's 50 cents for the first month, $8.99 for the subsequent months. You can also check out PHNX Cardinals Live, myself, Kirsten Susel, PHNX Cardinals Live this offseason now, every day, 3 p.m., every day live. Today, Jano, we're going to be talking about, should the Arizona Cardinals trade for Calvin Ridley? Does that make sense?
Ooh.
Plus the Bird Gang Blitz mailbag, where we take your questions, answer them on the show. That's the PHNX Cardinals Show podcast, 3 p.m. every day today. Check it out.
Love it. Yeah, and then in 10 minutes, I will be on the Phoenix Sports Podcast right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Make sure to follow PHNX Sports across all socials, including Twitter, YouTube. Hit that subscribe button.
I didn't get the invite to that. Maybe I'll just crash the comments, spam it with a bunch of malware, some porn, whatever.
Okay, follow me on Twitter at Shane.
We're not going to do that. Don't do that.
Follow Johnny on Twitter at Johnny Venerable. Be careful clicking on any links on Johnny's Twitter page. You can follow the show at PHNX_bets. Thanks for tuning in as always. We'll be back tomorrow at noon. Peace.